All right, Dolphin fans. So if you're anything like me, you woke up the morning after Christmas, you saw the score to the Ravens and 49ers game, and you said, holy crap, how the hell are we going to beat this team? They just creamed the 49ers, who everybody pretty much thought is the best team in the NFC. Now, I did go ahead and watch some of the highlights, and I'm not about to sit here and say the Ravens are not as good as advertised, but I don't think they're the big, bad, horrible monster that many people in the media are portraying them to be as well. Let's run down just a couple of things. Now, the Dolphins and Ravens both average 5 yards per carry. On defense, however, there's a pretty big disparity. The Dolphins allow 3.7 yards per carry and are tied for fourth. The Ravens are tied for 22nd, allowing 4.4 yards per carry. That's a big difference. Now, when you look at the pass numbers, the Ravens are number one in defense, allowing 5.8 yards per reception. The Dolphins are number two in pass yards per play, but San Francisco was number one. But when I look at this matchup and I think, okay, how are we going to beat this team? Look at what they just did to the 49ers. You have to take the 49er game into a little bit of context. The Ravens were winning 16-12 at halftime, and Purdy had already thrown 3 interceptions. Now, the first one was just on a bad throw that should have never been thrown, but the next two were on tipped balls, and I'm not taking anything away. I know that's still a great defensive play when that happens, but those things happen kind of in a bubble, okay? Those are things that are difficult to repeat. Of course, we also know Tua has been prone to having passes batted down. But when I look at what happened in the second half, it was mainly Lamar Jackson doing Lamar Jackson things. And Brock Purdy had a bad game. Now, again, I'm not poo-pooing what the Ravens did. But if you want the Dolphins to win this game, the path is clear. There's 2 lanes to the path, by the way, and you got to do both, but one can kind of take care of the other. We all know you got to contain Lamar Jackson. That's easier said than done. He is their top rusher, all right? Yeah, I think he's averaging like 5.5 yards per carry. We know what he can do. Not only do you have to worry about him scrambling around for first downs, but he'll also scramble around and wait for somebody to get open, and it is maddening. That just drives the defense crazy. You are not going to stop that completely. However, what you can do, Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, is limit his chances. How can you do that? Run the damn ball. The Dolphins have a literal stable of running backs with Mostert, Achane, Wilson. Brooks is healthy if we need him again. Run the damn ball. The Ravens, again, allow 4.4 yards per carry. If you run the ball, control the clock, control the field position, you're going to have success. But not only that, you're going to limit the number of times Lamar Jackson has the ball in his hands. Let's say you only get a 30 or a 40-yard drive because you're running the ball and it kind of bogs down and you have to punt the ball. That still could be 4 or 5 minutes that you've taken off the clock. The worst thing that we could do is to end up with incompletion after incompletion, trying to force the ball and then giving the Ravens the ball right back. That, to me, is the key to winning this game. And it still isn't a perfect science. It's not going to be easy, all right? You got to figure out on defense, how do you want to play it? We know the Dolphins in the past have done pretty good with blitzing. Is that really what you want to do against Lamar? Because if you send too many guys and he gets past that first level of guys, there's going to be nobody there to stop him from running. So I don't really recommend blitzing him. To me, you want to know the honest truth, I would rush 3, not even 4. I would rush 3, forget about trying to get sacks, and I would just have Van Ginkel shadow him. Just completely use Van Ginkel for one purpose and one purpose only. Follow Lamar. That way, if Lamar takes off, you got a pretty decent chance that Van Ginkel is going to be able to at least slow him down before the rest of the help gets there. But if you're still rushing 3 instead of 4, that will give you the numbers to be able to at least attempt to cover the guys that are scrambling around trying to get open, while Lamar is scrambling around. It's not going to be a perfect science. There's going to be maddening plays in this game. It's going to be 3rd and 4, and we are going to think we have him sacked, and the next thing you know, he's going to run for 15 yards. It is going to be 3rd and 4, and we are going to think we had him sacked, and he's going to scramble around and find somebody open 20 yards down the field. It's going to happen. You need to run the ball, take as much time as you need to before every snap, which isn't really a problem for the Dolphins. They're prone to delay of games anyway. Every time you snap that ball, it better be on 1, or better yet, just having hit 0. Bleed every second you possibly can off the clock on offense. Don't try to force the ball. They will give up yards running, and we know that we have the running backs to do it. On defense, don't get crazy. Do what you need to do, and then tighten up inside the red zone. Force them to kick field goals. It's not a perfect science, and we're going to really need to play about as much of a perfect game as possible to get the win. That's the last thing, the turnover battle. I know that that's cliche, but in this game, it is a significant importance. Tua, if the play isn't there, eat it. Throw it away. Do whatever you need to do. Do not force the ball, because that's what Brock Purdy did, okay? A couple of those interceptions, he was forcing the ball into tight windows, and the Ravens secondary is just too good for that, all right? Again, they're number 1 in the league in yards per pass play given up. They're number 1 for a reason, and you just saw it against the 49ers. Mike, I know you want to throw the ball, but God help us if you start using those bubble screens. The Ravens are going to tear us up, all right? Run the ball. A 2-yard run is better than a pick 6. A 3-yard run is better than an incompletion. Do the smart thing, Mike. Just keep chucking the ball off to one of the running backs play after play after play.